Coming up, we take a look at how Tzu Chi's recycling mission flourishes in Taiwan over the past 25 years. We meet 7-year-old Hong Ruiqi of Chiayi, Taiwan, who inspires her classmates to embrace vegetarianism. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Since Tzu Chi first started its environmental mission in Taiwan in 1990, there are now over 300 Tzu Chi recycling and education stations across the country, which are frequented by schools, government officials, and citizens in an effort to learn more about conservation. As more and more people recycle, Tzu Chi is now turning its attention to recyclables that are messier to deal with, such as plastic bags.
Tzu Chi's environmental mission has been running in Taiwan for 25 years. According to the EPA and Tzu Chi, by 1998, 8 years after the launch of the mission, Tzu Chi's recycling volume was 30% of the national total, while the rest was collected by local waste management. However, by 2014, though Tzu Chi's recycling volume had doubled, its overall percentage dropped to 3%. Due to heightened environmental awareness, the average citizen had become the main driver in the surge of recyclables.
So while the volume of recyclables collected in the country has grown by 26 times, at Tzu Chi it has only doubled.
For 2014, of the some 300 recycling stations that Tzu Chi has in the country, plastic bags were the most collected recyclable, while the more complicated paper goods accounted for only 3% of total recyclables.
Most of citizens treated plastic bags as trash, but our recycling volunteers thought that was wasteful. So they asked the reclamation companies whether plastic bags can be recycled. And the reply was yes, as long as they are sorted properly.
Since March of last year, the Pingdong city has teamed up with Tzu Chi to establish some 100 recycling points in its 79 boroughs, which drastically reduced the trash volume by 285 tons in 6 months.
Because the city came to us with a request, we began promoting conservation actively in the communities and carried out the work.
Tzu Chi is committed to recycling because of its love for the planet. Such love has also helped Tzu Chi discover more families in need. Of the nearly 70,000 families under Tzu Chi's long-term care last year, many scavenged for recyclables to get by.
As we go about recycling, on average, we typically discover about some 2,000 families in need of assistance a year. As soon as we see a scavenger, we will visit his or her family.
Tzu Chi is not collecting recyclables for money, but for a reduction in the overuse of non-renewable resources, and so that future generations can live in a cleaner environment.
Tzu Chi Foundation will soon celebrate its 50th anniversary in Taiwan. To Tzu Chi volunteers, their uniforms and titles are not symbols of status but proof of their dedication to carry on Tzu Chi's missions. To become a certified Tzu Chi volunteer is no easy task. One must first be sponsored by another certified volunteer and complete several stages of training in order to finally put on a Tzu Chi uniform.
At Tzu Chi, everyone is the same. We all share the same goal, which is to help better society.
It's not that easy to become a Tzu Chi volunteer. We're all proud of being a Tzu Chi volunteer.
Su Minghui completed her Tzu Chi volunteer certification 20 years ago. She helped her fellow Rotary Club member Zhang Meiqi get to know Tzu Chi. Zhang and her husband Tu Fengchuan have long been Tzu Chi members. After completing the introductory training program last year, the pair is undertaking their certification training this year.
I have to attend classes and volunteer at the hospital. There is the spiritual cultivation class too. I'm still learning to canvas from others.
Working
as a grain importer for over 40 years, Zhang is known as a successful businesswoman.
People know that I'm very sharp and am someone that they should not mess around with. I travel all over the world, so I have to stay sharp. From the book study club, I began to get to know Tzu Chi. Naturally, I just said, all right, I would go attend the lessons. Back at the Rotary Club, others say, I now always carry a smile on my face, which is quite different from before.
No matter how successful a person is, in Tzu Chi, they always start from square one. Regardless of the amount of one's donation, one must still complete the certification training in order to become a certified Tzu Chi volunteer.
To become a certified volunteer means to carry on Tzu Chi's mission. When we complete our certification, we wear something more formal, which is our chosam, and it's only about $100. Then there's the 8-fold path dress, which we wear for regular activities, such as study sessions and meetings. For the more active occasions, such as kitchen duty, we will wear our blue and white uniform. The blue shirt is about $10, while the white pants are about the same too.
Tzu Chi volunteers are now a familiar sight in Taiwan. Whenever society is in turmoil, volunteers clad in blue and white will be there to ease pain and suffering with their love.
The 50-year anniversary is a remarkable achievement. For the next 50 years or even 500 years, we must continue to be vigilant and humble to respond to the needs of society.
Over the past few decades, Tzu Chi volunteers have entered countless communities to care for the less fortunate, providing an emotional outlet for the impoverished, as well as giving them financial support. Tzu Chi's home visitations are broken up into 3 categories. Let's now take a look at a couple of examples of Tzu Chi's home visits.
As it turns out, Mr. Wong might be suffering from a tumor, but he does not have the money to get further testing.
When we received this case, we immediately headed over to his place. We found him in bad spirits.
Mr. Wong lives in a tiny apartment. At first, the senior was reluctant to let go of his pride and agreed to receive Tzu Chi's help.
In our interactions with the senior, we tried to respect him like we would with our own parents.
Next, the angels in blue and white visit another care recipient. Opening the door, the care recipient welcomes in his visitors.
He was raising a son and a daughter on his own, but unfortunately he fell victim to a stroke 3 times.
This father of 2 has been a Tzu Chi care recipient for the past 8 years. At times, his speech is unclear from the effects of the stroke. Thus, he writes his thoughts down for the volunteers. From care recipient to friend, volunteers who have conducted home visitations have all eventually come to this understanding.
Coming in contact with different types of families, the most important thing is to be firm in one's resolve. We need to hold the master's dharma within our hearts and also know when to let go.
Volunteers say they will continue to use their heart of compassion and kind words to bring a light of hope to those in need.
In Indonesia's North Jakarta, a massive fire destroyed around 80 homes in a residential area in Pajagalan village. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Upon receiving the news, Tzu Chi volunteers came to the rescue with aid for the fire victims. But first, we go to Manila of the Philippines, where Tzu Chi volunteers lend a helping hand to those affected by 2 separate fires.
On March 5th, a fire left this residential area in Manila of the Philippines in ash and debris.
We tried to enter the house again to save our things, but it was too late. We weren't able to rescue anything.
Upon hearing of the tragedy, Tzu Chi volunteers brought daily necessities for the disaster victims, temporarily relieving them of their worries.
Tzu Chi's relief items were really nice because all the things they gave us were important things like cooking pots, slippers, soap, and blankets. Sleeping mats and blankets are very important for us.
Thank you, Tzu Chi! Thank you, Tzu Chi!
A residential community in Manila was also struck by a fire in mid-March, with those affected electing to set up an evacuation center close to the scene of the fire.
I feel bad for my children because they are lying on cement to sleep. They have already caught a fever and a cough from the cold floor. On top of which, there are also mosquito problems here.
To address these worries, Tzu Chi volunteers brought blankets and mosquito nets as part of their aid distribution.
We are so fortunate because your organization came to help us fire victims. This has been a great help to us.
The two fires destroyed a total of 88 houses and affected 144 families. Thankfully, volunteers came to the rescue with relief supplies, and these survivors can rest easy knowing Tzu Chi is by their side. At the site of the fire in Jakarta, Indonesia, residents are camped out in the ruins of their home, with only a tarp to shelter them from the elements.
The fire most likely started in neighborhood 6 from an electrical short. The fire was massive and it spread out from there. It destroyed about 80 homes in our area.
When I heard about the fire, I immediately ran home, but the police had already blocked the streets, so I couldn't get in to rescue anything. I was so scared.
Hoping to bring some relief to the disaster survivors, Jakarta Tzu Chi volunteers came to distribute around 100 boxes of aid.
We are distributing aid supplies to the fire survivors. The daily necessities include clothes, a sarong, sandals, and some cleaning supplies.
We are very thankful for Tzu Chi's assistance. The volunteers not only brought supplies, but also their love and care. We're especially glad to have received tarps. This way, when it rains, we won't get wet. These supplies are plenty for us to get by.
On behalf of the residents, I want to thank the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter for their assistance. Though it's simply daily necessities, but for the residents, that's already a big help.
Indonesia enters dry season at the end of March. Thus, volunteers remind each resident to be careful with fire and electrical outlets to prevent further accidents from happening.
Next to me, 7-year-old Hong Ruiqi, who was inspired to go meatless after taking part in the musical adaptation of the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings presented by the young volunteers at the Jingsi Books and Cafe in Taiwan. If your posture is correct, you can place the stickers on these books correctly. After going meatless and becoming a volunteer at the Jingsi Books and Cafe, Ruiqi has learned to love those around her. Ruiqi's relationship with her grandmother has improved too. Now she'll politely ask her grandma to join her for dinner and even hold her grandma's hand when they walk down the stairs.
I want to help him because he is my friend. He sits beside me too.
The boy sitting beside Hong Ruiqi has difficulty expressing himself, so whenever he encounters a problem, Ruiqi will step in to help. Ruiqi will comfort him and teach him ways to communicate with us so we can better understand his needs. She is always willing to reach out to those in need of assistance. Chicken was Ruiqi's favorite. Once her grandmother bought it for her older sister, and Ruiqi told me that it smelled really nice. I then told her that it was not a vegetarian lunchbox. She then replied, okay.
I burnt my hand once while cooking an egg and it hurt a lot. I don't want animals to go through the same pain that I did. I told my friends that embracing a meat-free diet is a good way to protect the planet and all animals. I have become healthier after going vegetarian. I used to get sick a lot when I was a meat lover.
都会感冒很多次，现在比较没有这样。因为看到琪琪他们在吃素，所以我也想吃素。
我们班应该是全校用素食。
Our class has more children eating vegetarian lunch boxes compared to the school as a whole. Although students eating meat-free meals have to walk further to pick up their food, they're still very happy to do so. Many of them even promise to continue going meatless.
在其中好像也是还想要再继续再吃素这样子。
In Guangdong Province, China, Tzu Chi volunteers visit the Baoxing nursing home on a monthly basis to care for the senior residents there. On their most recent visit, the volunteers were joined by 8 children who brought joy to the residents by showcasing their talents. Meanwhile, in Jakarta, Indonesia, students and faculty at the Tzu Chi Grade Left School arrived at the nearby DaAi village to care for the elderly residents. Early in the morning, seniors living at the DaAi village in Jakarta, Indonesia, wait anxiously for the arrival of children of the local Tzu Chi Grade Left School. To break the ice, Tzu Chi volunteers encourage the youngsters to give the elderly a massage and wipe their faces with a clean towel.
It is truly amazing to see that these students have formed strong relationships with the seniors here. Many residents told me that they are extremely grateful.
Every month, the Tzu Chi Grade Left School comes up with a different theme regarding character education to help its students develop good character.
I hope the students can remember to be filial towards their parents and the elderly when they go home.
Thanks to the event, children not only realized the importance of fulfilling their filial duties, but also brought joy to the senior residents at the DaAi village. Meanwhile, at the Baoxing nursing home in Guangdong, China, seniors happily participate in the monthly gatherings organized by local Tzu Chi volunteers. This time, the volunteers are joined by 8 children who have prepared performances to entertain the residents here. Whether it is martial arts, sign language, or acrobatic performances, the children give it their all. After watching the acrobatic performance by a sister pair, a grandma happily makes a promise with them. The volunteers' love and care has cheered up the quiet atmosphere of the nursing home. Volunteer Yu Chun says this visit has taught her a valuable lesson.
We need to take better care of these seniors by being more considerate and tolerant.
Tzu Chi volunteers treat the seniors like their own parents because they know residents here learn for family warmth. To remind the seniors here that they are not alone, the volunteers present each with a group photo.
This picture reminds us of the beautiful moments we shared together. We need to treasure it, okay? Let's thank the volunteers for their kindness and love.
In Armagh of the Philippines, the Habal-Habal Force, an association of motorcycle taxi drivers, was founded 3 decades ago with more than 100 motorcycle drivers. Living in hardship, they have been unable to fix their carport, which was damaged in Typhoon Haiyan. However, Tzu Chi volunteers have brought hope, helping the drivers to rebuild their carport together with formal casual work participants.
After Typhoon Haiyan destroyed their carport, these motorcycle taxi drivers now take their breaks in tents. To give them a proper rest area, the Tzu Chi Philippine chapter invited former casual work participants to guide them through the rebuilding process.
Now our customers have a nice waiting area that shelters them from rain. We appreciate Tzu Chi's help.
Bonifacio has been a motorcycle driver for 2 decades. He is grateful for Tzu Chi's assistance in helping rebuild the carport.
We hope all our drivers can stop gambling as a way to show our gratitude for Tzu Chi's assistance. With the carport, we can now work without worry.
I think this is a very beautiful cooperation. Our customer work do it out of love, and the cooperative here, motorcycle cooperative, need our help, and here we are together.
Teaming up with the former prefab construction participants, more than 100 members from the Hubble Hubble Force came together to change their lives for the better.
Yes! Also in Ormoc at the Philippines, 75-year-old Angela Pitogo has been living with her son and grandchildren in a small home after her house was severely damaged by Typhoon Haiyan. Upon learning the family's plight, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to give Angela a big surprise.
A fully loaded truck broke this quiet morning in Ormoc of the Philippines. As usual, the workers jumped out of the truck to carry out their missions.
I'm more than happy to help my neighbors.
Invited by the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter director Alfredo Lee, the Ormoc Tzu Chi prefab construction crew are building a fellow Haiyan victim, Angela Pitogo, a new home. Bring along a comfortable bed and a warm blanket. Tzu Chi Volunteers has given the senior her own personal space away from her son and grandchildren.
I am truly grateful. You are a godsend for giving me such tremendous help.
After learning that Angela's granddaughter, Michelle, is a grade student with financial difficulty, volunteers decided to help her with schooling.
We are very grateful to Tzu Chi for not only helping us financially, but also for building a home for my mother. Now you are even providing scholarships to my daughter. I will remember this even after I pass away.
I am very grateful that you have made a difference for my family, giving my grandma a better place to live in and making it possible for me to pursue a degree at college. Without your help, I will not be able to continue my education.
Tzu Chi's love has warmed the hearts of this family, moving them to tears. And this story will be told in the community for a long, long time.
We go to Hualien County, Taiwan at the end of the show, where the Yapi Children's Theater at Tzu Chi University launched its latest performance, hoping to spread the importance of honesty and bravery to its audience. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.